Winter brings cold, I think, he said with a smile. When they reached home, it was raining heavily. The stormy night brought so much rain with it, and they got scared for a second. And they entered the home, the light gone all of a sudden. Oh, what happened? He said as he tried to turn the light on again, but there was all dark in the home. We never had electricity problem, not even in this weather. Then why tonight? He told they, but he was just looking around at the darkness and the shine of thunders, which were scaring him. You come. Holding the hand, he locked the door and moved ahead toward the room. In the help of mobile torch, you stay here. I'm going to bring candles. Standing him at the entrance of the room, he rushed and backed, and then the darkness scared him. What happened to the electricity? As the call picked, he asked while searching for the candles in the cabinet. The transformer got some problems due to the weather. We'll soon fix it as the weather is clear. He was told him on the other side of the call. He cut the call. Taking the candles, he went back toward the room. As his eyes fell on they, his pace slowed down. You okay? He asked as the lighting up the candle and went closer to they. I am, they replied with a smile. The light of the candle with her heart. Taking a looking, he just was to take the test at that moment. He could see that those tiny drops of rain in their neck and hair. His face was glowing in the candlelight. His heartbeat increased, and he just wanted to keep looking at him. He wanted to inside the room hardly and avoided his eyes from their face. After lighting 3 candles in the room, he went back to they, who was still standing there near the door. His heart was betrayed by him, and he was just losing his control over his desire, over his hurt. Why are you standing there? Come inside, he said as he took off the guard and went back inside the room, throwing his guard on the sofa and removed his tie. He sat down and started taking off his shoes, while his head and mind and eyes were only recalling their face to him with its every image, which was appearing on his mind. His heart was beating fast, while eyes were requesting moving back to they, who was still standing there. Take your cloth off, they said, and he was about to take a step ahead. The window opening and sent that cold breeze, and the candle turned off. You stay here. Let me close the window. Saying, he turned the torch of the mobile on the vent to close the window. As he turned, after closing the window, he saw they standing with a light candle in his hand. He forgot what he was going to say, but remember only they, who was looking breathtaking. Without saying anything, his feet toward him, and they started on the way. He was looking at him. Theung's breath starting to get heavy. At his heated gaze was falling on him. They felt his feet were rooted on to the floor, that he could not move. As he stopped in front of they, he looked in his eyes and felt his heart was melting. They felt his cheeks burned on that intense gaze. Looking down, he tried to hold his abnormal heartbeat, but it was not helping. Just take your clothes out. Managed to see, he just tried to get off from there. As they took a step toward from the feet, stopping as they wrist catch in his hold hand. While beating hurt, they turned and slowly looked up at him, who was already looking at him. Taking a step closer to thee, he didn't remove his eyes from him, but he let his eyes to the third time his eyes had thee, and they again looked up at his eyes. He felt what mistake they did. His eyes catches him, telling everything and every desire, emotion, and longing live in them. Moving a step closer, he cupped their face in his both hands, and they shivered as his hands were touching him. Closing the gap, he let their lips together, and as the candle fell down from his hand and eyes closed down, the feeling of his lips Snaking his right arm around their waist, he pulled it a little bit closer to bring and start kissing him with love, with affection, and with care. His hand on his arm shivered, receiving that heart-taking kiss as the thunder of sound came. They clenched his shoulder tightly and started kissing him passionately, pulling him more to him. While he felt that sense were blocking on the way, he was kissing him, showing all his love, looks, and desires of him. For a few seconds he kept kissing him passionately, and he felt their need was going weak. With the heated touch and kiss, they just could not take this any longer. They murmured on his lips as he felt the lack of breath. Slowly moving back, he placed his forehead and took deep breath. He opened his eyes to see him, who was so close to him, and they could feel that breath on his face. The fragrance and the touch, the breaths were making him crazy. They was feeling all the sensations and the tingle in his body and that they wanted it happened again. And he closed his eyes and looked at they who was so close to him, the darkness of the eyes that could not hide them from each other. They were feeling each other, heartbeats, and body was enough for see and felt. And he realized what he did. He immediately took 2 steps far away from him. I'm sorry, he said and turned to go for. But they was told him stop. They just hugged him from behind, wrapping his arms around his chest. They placed his head on the shoulder. He was shocked to be the place and the act of day. Again the sound of rumbling thunders and lightning flash scared him, and he hugged him tightly, increasing his heartbeat. Turning a little toward they, he pulled him in his arm and hugged it tightly and closed his eyes. Their hearts started beating together and breath were wrecked with each other feels. Slowly they placed his lips on his collarbone. Jungkook was getting more restless on his touch, and they held breath, with that teasing him more. Their touch was getting increased. Leaning on the neck, he placed the lips, and then, leaving heated kiss, while his hand were aside his hair, and one on the back to feel him. They got more restless on his this act. Slowly, he said they should, and they struggled more in his neck shyly. They felt that heated palm, and his finger touched that bare back. Moving a little back, he cupped his face, and at the same time, the light flash made their eyes visible to each other for a second. They could see the desire and longing they were having for each other in their eyes. Without thought that he just crashed his lips on him and started kissing him passionately, placing no limits. Receiving the kiss, they just could not stop himself, and from holding each other tightly in that embrace, they were just lost in the kiss. In that moment, with their breathing, the kiss, and start to their face, his eyes and cheeks were dry, moving down on their neck slowly, kissing them passionately and hard kisses.